Hello, third graders. So today we have a new writing prompt. Don't forget the writing goal that you came up with yesterday for your opinion pieces because you're going to want to apply that to your new prompt this week. Now, your prompt actually is not the same one that I'm going to be doing in this video. Your prompt talks about whether you feel that there's more benefits in learning from home or in going to school and doing face-to-face learning, which means what we had been doing at the beginning in the middle of the school year, where you come to school every day and then we, do reading groups, math groups, learn together. So, but now in the past, last week and this week, you have now ventured into a different type of learning, which is online distance learning. So what you're going to be answering the question of has to do with whether you feel like it's more beneficial to do what we have been doing this week and past week, learning from home, or whether you feel like what we were doing before this, where you would come into school and learn face-to-face, was the best learning for you. Now, I didn't want to use the same prompt that you guys have because I didn't want what my thoughts and my feelings to be what you feel like you need to feel. So I changed it a little bit, and my prompt is, and this is what I'm sure you guys remember this organizer from last week. You're going to use the same organizer, but it's going to be much easier for you to type in. So the organizer is, or the question for me is, do you think teaching online or in school face-to-face teaching is more beneficial? This is the question for me. So do I think me teaching through the computer to you guys, what we're doing right now, is more beneficial to what we were doing, where you guys would come to school and I would teach you at school? Be sure to state your opinion, provide 3 reasons along with an example for each of your reasons in a concluding paragraph. So first, I'm going to start with my opinion. Now, you do have this to kind of help you with forming your opinion. These are the types of phrases I could start with. So in my opinion, or I believe, I think, I'm convinced, I'm confident that. Those are all ways that I can start it. So I'm going to say, in my opinion, that's how I'm going to start it. And I noticed that there was a comma, so I'm going to make sure I use a comma. So in my opinion, comma. So let me come back to this, and I'm going to say, okay, type in. So in my opinion, and then I'm going to make sure I use some of the words from the question. So in my opinion, teaching face-to-face in school is more beneficial for learners than teaching online. And now I need to provide my reasons. Notice how there's a box up here for reason number 1, and then I need to give an example of what I mean. So my first reason about how I feel like teaching face-to-face in school is more beneficial than teaching online. Notice there's 2 periods here. I'm going to take out that period. And remember, down here, you do not have to use complete sentences. These are you're just getting your ideas down so that you know what you're going to say when you go to write your essay tomorrow in the next slide. So for my first reason, and you know what, I think I'm going to use these little bullets, the bulleted points again. But if you want to use complete sentences, go for it. So for my little bulleted point, I just clicked Shift and then 8, and it gave me that little asterisk, that little star. So I'm going to say one reason is that I'm really able to give you more feedback when we're face-to-face. And what I mean by that is when you go to turn in your assignments through the computer and then I give you feedback and I send it back to you, I'm not sure if you're always seeing the feedback or the comments or the way that things that you can do to become even better than where you are now with your understanding. So I'm going to say reason number 1 is I know that you are able to hear my feedback in person. And then, so for example, like let's say you have, let's say you are in a math group when we're at school, and you are kind of, there's like something in your thinking that's a little confused. And I noticed that you did something when you were working out the problem, and that's where you kind of got hung up. And I'm able to tell you directly right there in math group. I can bend down and talk to you about that, what I'm noticing in your word problem or in your math work that's kind of getting you held back with your thinking. So I can give you, constructive feedback in groups, in math group, in math group. So that would be one example about how, and on the computer, I'm not sure if you're seeing my feedback when you're on the computer. So that would be one reason why I feel like face-to-face in school learning is more beneficial than on the computer. So my second reason would be that we are not really able to have the types of class discussions that we used to have when we were in school. When we were in school and we're learning about something, learners kind of share an idea, and then another learner will say, well, I disagree with you, or I agree with you. And it's, although we can do that on Padlet, true, but when we are in person, it just kind of takes it to another level. So I'm going to say for reason number 2, not able to have the discussions that we are able to have when we are face to face. And then, for example, when we are agreeing and disagreeing, for example, like with, I know here I'm coming back to math again, but when we do mini math and you guys are teaching each other about the questions and your answers and what you got, and do you agree with each other, do you disagree with each other, we're not able to do that really over the computer as much. So my example is mini math when we are, and again, you don't have to write in complete sentences, you're just getting your ideas down. When we are agreeing or disagreeing with one another. And then my third reason is one important thing that teachers really need to be able to do is build relationship with their students. Because when we can build relationship with you guys, we have a better understanding of each other as learners and as people. So I'm going to put reason number 3, not able, building relationship. Building relationship is important, and it's a little tougher to build relationship through the computer. So for example, one thing that I really love to do is, for those learners who are at recess time, maybe they don't feel like running and playing. What did you guys play? Sharks and minnows. I had a few individuals that would like to just come up and chat with me, and we're really able to kind of build some relationship during the recess time or during your morning work. Some learners may procrastinate a little bit during their morning work, and they would come and talk with me about their their evening dinner time the night before, what they did, the activities they did after school the day before. And building relationship is huge. It's really important to do. So for example, I'm going to say morning work time and recess were great opportunities to build relationship. And when you have, a great relationship with someone, then you also want to make sure that you are doing your best for them and for yourself. So those are my reasons. Those are my examples. And notice how the example connects to the reason, right? And you're giving a specific example that connects to your reason. So now I'm going to head to my conclusion, and I'm going to think about, well, what would be a good way to start my conclusion? Well, let me come back to these examples, and we could use these as examples for starting the conclusion, or these. So I'm going to say, let me see, all in all, clearly, obviously, therefore, as you can see, in conclusion, as I have said, to sum it up, to summarize. So I'm going to say, I think, maybe as you can see, or maybe as you can see. And you can always change your mind later when you feel like, if you feel like the flow just isn't there. As you can see, for me as your teacher, teaching face-to-face is more beneficial than teaching online, for the reasons that I've shared with you, or something like that, for the reasons that I've stated above. And again, this is just giving you ideas. Can I change my conclusion later because maybe I feel like it could be better? Absolutely. So learners, this is what you're going to be doing today. You're not using the same prompt as me, though. You are going to decide whether you feel if learning online is better for you or learning face-to-face when you're at school is better for you as a learner. Not as a teacher, but as a learner. You're going to finish this organizer today, and then tomorrow is when you're going to start constructing your essay and putting these into paragraphs. All right, have a good day of learning, learners, and I miss you.